Hare Krishna. Let us understand Bhagavad Gita as it is, written by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters. So let us understand these chapters section by section. Before we begin the discussion, let us offer our prayers to our spiritual master, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada and Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we will be understanding the first section of chapter 10 of Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 10 is entitled The Opulence of the Absolute. First section is from Shloka number 1 to Shloka number 11. This section is entitled The Glory and Power of Lord Krishna. So let us understand this section. Lord Krishna says, Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Bhuya eva mahabaho Shrunu me paramam vachaha Yatteham priyamanaya Vakshyami hitakamyaya. The Supreme Lord said, My dear friend, mighty armed Arjuna, listen again to my supreme word, which I shall impart to you for your benefit and which will give you great joy. Name vidusura-ganaha prabhavam na maharshayaha aham adirhi devanam maharshinam cha sarvashaha. Neither the hosts of demigods nor the great sages know my origin, for in every respect I am the source of the demigods and the sages. Yo mam ajamanadincha vetti loka maheshwaram asammodha samarteshu sarva papai pramuchyate. He who knows me as the unborn, as the beginningless, as the Supreme Lord of all the worlds, he, undeluded among men, is freed from all sins. So here Krishna is describing about his glories. He tells Arjuna that he is now describing his glories which will give Arjuna joy. So devotees who love Krishna, they take pleasure in hearing about Krishna, hearing his power, hearing his glories. So Krishna is describing that he is so glorious that Name viduhu suraganaha. Even great devatas and maharshis, great sages also cannot understand Krishna completely. What to speak of so-called ordinary human beings who are so-called scholars in this human society? When great sages and great devatas cannot understand Krishna, his personality, his name and fame, how can an insignificant human being describe him or understand him? So it's only by Krishna's mercy we can understand Krishna, and only a pure devotee of Krishna can understand him because he loves Krishna. Unless there is love and devotion to Krishna, one cannot understand into all these personal aspects of Krishna. It is only understood by a pure devotee and by the mercy of Krishna. Without mercy of Krishna, we cannot understand all these glories. Further, Krishna is telling, Yoma majam anadim cha veti loka maheshwaram asammoda samarteshu sarva papai pramuchyate. Anyone who knows me as the unborn, beginningless and the Supreme Lord of all worlds, he, undeluded among men, becomes free from all sins. So Krishna is not an ordinary human being. Here clearly Krishna is telling the effects of knowing him. If we understand Krishna as the Supreme Lord, and he is unborn, in the second chapter, Atma is also described as unborn. But Krishna, he is the origin of everything. He doesn't take birth like an ordinary human being or any other ordinary living being in this world. He is always in his spiritual body, Satchidananda. He never takes birth. He appears to take birth. According to his own desires, he chooses his parents, or he appears from anywhere and everywhere he likes. He is not under the laws of nature. We ordinary jivas, ordinary living beings, we take birth according to the laws of nature, either in the form of a seed, or in the form of an egg, or through the sexual union of male and a female. So, or through perspiration. There are 4 ways a soul takes birth in this material world and gets material bodies. So we are under the laws of nature, and we get a suitable body according to our own karmas in the past, or according to gradual elevation of the soul, transmigration of the soul from a lower species to higher species. But Krishna, he doesn't take birth like us. He is Supreme Lord, is always in his eternal spiritual abode, enjoying with his pure devotees. Krishna has told that he appears again and again in this material world to protect the devotees who are trying to elevate spiritually and become perfect, and to punish the asuric, impious people, demoniac people who harm or put an obstacle to the devotee's natural progress in Krishna consciousness. And Krishna appears to re-establish the religious principles in this society. So Krishna keeps appearing, or he sends his pure devotees. So that is his mercy on the fallen souls. So anyone who understands these aspects of Lord Krishna, he becomes free from all sinful reactions. On the other hand, if we understand a biography of some so-called great person of this world, we do not become free from our material sufferings or reactions for our karmas. So this is the difference between knowing Krishna and knowing some ordinary human being. Further, Krishna says, Buddhirjnanam sammohaha Kshama satyam damah shamaha Sukham dukkham bhavo bhavo bhayam cha bhayameva cha Ahimsa samata tushtis tapo danam yasho yashaha Bhavanti bhava bhutanam matta eva prithak vidha. Intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, self-control and calmness, pleasure and pain, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame and infamy are created by me alone. So in this material world, whatever qualities we see, they are all emitting from Krishna. Krishna is origin of everything. Whether it may be good qualities or bad qualities, it is all coming from Krishna. So here Krishna mentions few qualities which emits from him. Very nicely Krishna is telling, intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt, delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness. So all these things are emitting from Krishna. So Krishna is the source of everything in this material world. And further Krishna says, Maharshaya sapta purve chatvaro manavastatha madbhava manasa jata esham lokaimaf praja. The 7 great sages, and before them the 4 other great sages and the manos, progenitors of mankind, are born out of my mind. And all creatures in these planets descend from them. So Krishna is the origin of everyone in this world. So Krishna is giving a synopsis of that origin. The great sages, the 7 great sages, the Saptarishis, and the 4 Kumaras were the first 4 sons of Lord Brahma, Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana and Sanat Kumaras. And the Manus, who are the progenitors of mankind, they are all born of Krishna through his mind. So Brahma is born from the navel of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. A lotus sprouts, and from that lotus Brahma, who is the first living being of this universe, he appears. From Brahma, all these progenitors of mankind, they are manifest. From them, the whole universe is populated. So in this way, Krishna is the cause of everything in this universe. Not only one universe, many universes are there. So in every universe, it is Krishna who is the cause of everything. Krishna says, Yetam vibhutim yogam cha mama yovetti tattvataha so vikalpena yogena yujyate natra samshayaha. He who knows in truth this glory and power of mine engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt. So it is important to understand how great is God. Many times people say that God is great, but it is essential for us to understand in detail how God is great, so that we can become firm in our conviction and advance in our devotional service and in our spiritual life very seriously, very firmly. So for that advancement in spiritual life, we need to understand the glories of the Lord in detail. Just by vaguely telling God is great, it's not sufficient. So as many details as the Lord has revealed in the scriptures, we should try to understand, and in that way, with firm conviction, we can make spiritual progress. So Krishna is telling, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattha sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who know this perfectly engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So once an intelligent man, he understands that it is Krishna who is the source of everything, he wholeheartedly serves Krishna, surrenders to Krishna. Krishna, when he appeared around 5,000 years ago, he demonstrated to everyone that he is the Supreme Lord by performing extraordinary activities. He started killing the demons right from when he was a child. When he appeared in front of Vasudeva and Devaki, he didn't take birth as an ordinary child. First he appeared as in the four-handed form, Vishnu form, and then he transformed himself into a baby form. And then he started killing the demons like Putana, Agasura, Bakasura, Trinavarta. Right from his childhood, Kamsa would send so many demons to kill the children, and Krishna would kill them. And Krishna lifted Giri Govardhan in his left hand on his little finger, and he held Govardhana hill for 7 continuous days. Krishna showed his universal form to Arjuna. Krishna showed the entire universe within the mouth to Mother Yashoda. In that way, Krishna performed extraordinary activities which only the Supreme Lord can perform. No other ordinary living being can perform. Krishna expanded himself into as many queens as he married. Krishna married 16,108 queens, and he was present in each and every palace simultaneously. This only Krishna can do, because he is the Lord of every living being. He can be present with every living being. That's nothing extraordinary for Krishna, but it is only Krishna who can do that. He is present in every atom. So Krishna is present in the hearts of every living being. So Krishna can appear, and he can be beside his queens, and he can be with every living being. So Krishna is not an ordinary human being, he is the Supreme Lord. So Krishna is further telling, Matchitta madgata prana bodhayantah parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me, their lives are surrendered to me, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss, enlightening one another and conversing about me. So pure devotees, they take great pleasure in discussing all these glories of Krishna, and they derive great satisfaction discussing amongst one another about Krishna. So that is the special effect of discussing about Krishna. It gives complete satisfaction to the soul. It's the nature of the soul to glorify someone, to hear about someone. But due to ignorance, ordinary human being, we glorify some so-called famous man or powerful man or so-called intelligent man in this material world. That doesn't actually satisfy the soul. If at all we want to take pleasure in glorification, take pleasure in knowing, we have to know Krishna, understand Krishna, how great He is, how glorious He is. And devotees who know these aspects of the Supreme Lord, they discuss about the glories, the opulences, the energies of Krishna from the Vedic scriptures, especially Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are transcendental literatures. They are pure literatures which glorify Krishna, and devotees take pleasure in discussing all those narrations about Krishna, how Krishna deals with his pure devotees. That gives great joy and satisfaction, and therefore devotees always go on glorifying and hearing about Krishna. So further Krishna says, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam ena mamupayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So this is the effect of surrendering to Krishna. If we go on serving Krishna with pure love and devotion, Krishna, who is there in the heart, He understands the sincerity of the devotee, and He guides the devotee to make further and further advancement. He supplies everything needed for the devotee's maintenance, and the devotee need not worry about his maintenance. The Lord protects him, He guides him, and the devotee makes progress in spiritual life. Further Krishna says, Teshamevanu partham aham ajnanajam tamaha nashayamyatma bhavastho jnanadipena bhasvata. Out of compassion for them, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So very clearly here Krishna is showing His special mercy and favor to His pure devotees. Krishna is there in the heart of every living being. He is the witness of the activities of every living being. But if a human being takes to devotion to Krishna with all sincerity, the Lord destroys all the ignorance within the heart of the devotee and illuminates the devotee with complete knowledge, so that the devotee can advance spiritually and ultimately reach the supreme abode of Krishna. Because Krishna wants all living beings back to Him. Every living being is part of Him. Krishna wants to enjoy with every living being. He doesn't want any living being to stay away from Him. But we have misused our free will. Some living beings who have misused their free will, they are in the material world. And because of the misuse of the free will and forgetfulness of Krishna, we are suffering in this material world. So Krishna doesn't want any living being to suffer. So if any living being shows an inclination to return back to Him, Krishna becomes very alert in such a living being's case, and He makes all the arrangements for the living being to advance spiritually and re-establish his loving relationship with Krishna. Krishna does everything needed for the soul to return back to Him. So that is Krishna's special care and mercy for a living being who wants to reconnect with Krishna. So further what happens we will be understanding in the next section. Hare Krishna.